2 days underway. How do you feel the defense is progressing and building off what you did in spring?
I know certainly we've progressed a lot in terms of understanding what we're doing. I think the investment of time they put in the summer has really paid dividends in terms of the technique and the fundamentals of what we're asking them to do. And I think we've had some good practices and we've had some better practices, but I think every time they've come on the field, they brought a good mindset of working and kind of getting through some of the mental aspects of camp, and I'm proud of where we're at right now.
We're still in install period.
We are. We stopped. We got one more install. We did some this morning. We had a big emphasis on red zone. I think we had almost 90 plays, within the 9-yard line. So we got a lot of good red zone working today.
What's your biggest thing you want to watch for tomorrow's scrimmage? What's the main things you're looking for?
It's watching the guys perform. Like I said, when we talked about 10 days ago, it was about moving some guys around. Trying to find the best group of guys, and I think we're starting to see those guys start to shake out a little bit, and some of the young guys are starting to come along. So now it's outside of the practice setting where things are controlled, a little more situational football, and see if these guys can kind of make some adjustments on the fly and now really perform when we're going live.
With that said, you noticed that when we could watch Jonathan Calvin started getting some work with Viper. Talk about his versatility and where you kind of see him fitting best, or is it too early to know?
We're still playing him, inside and outside. He's a guy that has continued to. The way he finished spring on a real high note, he's really coming to camp and he started off the same way he finished spring. So he's a guy that is good on the edge. He's strong against point of attack on tight ends and tackles. So he gives us a little bit of a different pitch out there in terms of his physicalness, and then he's still very productive playing inside. So I'd expect to see him move around a little bit, and on third down hopefully get after quarterback.
Are Gary and Trevor still working primarily at Viper, or are they moving around some?
Trev is playing he started off camp at Star, and he's playing Star and Viper, which to me we're asking them to do the same things. It's just the amount of space they're doing it into the field or to the boundary. So they're both playing, and then Gary's taking some inside reps as well. We thought Gary would take some inside reps, and in the last 3 or 4 practices, we started to integrate him and started to develop what he did in the spring, and he's having a really nice camp. I'm proud of Gary and him handling the Viper position, and then continue to improve the inside linebacker.
Talking to the 3 other defensive coaches, they said you've been really open, talking about wanting to accept language from them and just wanting ideas from them. How has that helped, and how has that made the transition that much smoother?
Well, it's about people, and I think being a coach is managing people and bringing people together. And I've been around some really fine coaches, and I think I'm very firm in what I want to do. I'm very flexible in how I want to get it done, and I think it'd be unwise to not take good counsel from Bake and Mo and T-Buck, and we're all collaborating on trying to get this thing right. When our product's on the field, everyone's signature's on it. So I think it's only right and appropriate to use their professionalism and try to get this thing right. It's not about me. It's not about the coaches. It's about trying to help the kids with the best product on the field. And we have to put that to a standard, and we need to be proud of what we're working towards.
Do you think that's made it easier for the players to kind of transition to 4 new defensive coaches?
I don't know. I wouldn't say that. I don't think me being open to the defensive coaches helps the players necessarily. I think it helps the players that we can get the best scheme and the best way to teach things. I think that helps the players.
What suits Nelson for playing over the ball the way he does now in this system?
Nelson's a very, very intelligent player. He's done a good job. He understands what we're doing. I was joking with him. We were doing a walk the other day, and he was calling out some of the route concepts of curl flat spot, and he was laughing about it. So he's a guy that understands what the linebackers are doing. He likes coaching up the linebackers sometimes, and he does my job for me every once in a while, where he tells the linebackers where they're supposed to go. So he's got a good spirit about him. Guys enjoy being around him, and he's one of those guys that is a good glue for the team, and he's playing well.
Then you go from a spirit like him to a real free spirit like Nick James, rotating with him there.
Yep, Nick is like all the guys. They're always trying to get better. And Nick has he's challenged himself to be more consistent. And in the last few practices, he's starting to rise to that challenge. So hopefully we can continue to help him, and Nick can continue to develop and just be more consistent on the field.
Brian Baker was up here last week and he said there's not enough time to describe how much changed in recruiting since he last recruited. As a guy with pro experience yourself and then college, what did you try to tell him about, how the game has changed and what he was getting into?
Well, I mean, the recruiting is so relationship based, and it's there's an evaluation aspect to it, but even at the NFL level, with the time and the resources they put into it, I mean, they're at 50% on the first round, and you have 3 to 4 years of body of work in a structured system with usually pretty darn good coaching at the college level, no matter if it's Division I, Division II. I mean, they're having a really good structure in their life. So, I think that it's the recruiting, how fast you identify the kids that might fit you, and I think that's not that's not something that you take lightly of, hey, I can't get that kid, but it's not a talent thing, it's a culture thing, where certain kids, I mean, you watch when kids come on campus, you end up recruiting the same kids you have on your team.